Hey everybody, looking forward to today. I'm going to be interviewing the CEO of MNsure, Libby Caulum. Hey, thanks Libby for coming today. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So when you guys come in for help for health insurance, there's a lot of different directions you go, but we've got the resources to point you in the right direction. And one of the resources we use, which you like to hear, is MNsure. And we've got the CEO herself to tell us about it. All right, so Libby, give me what's the thing or what's the goal for MNsure?
Yeah, so MNsure is Minnesota's official health insurance marketplace. So we are the only place that people can shop and compare plans from a whole bunch of different health insurance carriers, as well as access financial help to lower those costs of premiums. Our goal is to get as few people uninsured as possible. So we want everybody in the state of Minnesota to become insured.
We do
That's
too.
our goal.
We
Yeah.
want them to get insured and use us,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Now people know about MNsure. I mean, it's been around for a long time. People know more about MNsure and understand it. Most people that come into the office now say, you know what, should I look at MNsure? And again, the misconception of MNsure's the insurance company. And we're like, yes, let's look at MNsure, but we're still buying whatever the health insurance is. But years ago, people were like, I'm not buying that MNsure thing, right? They didn't understand it. You know, fear, not understanding it. It's really changed now where people are like, yeah, let's go through MNsure to get the product that fits me best. So now we have people asking, should I go through MNsure or should I go direct to the insurance company? Where before it was just, let's just go direct to the insurance company. So Libby, give us maybe an example or two of why would people go to MNsure or use the MNsure resources?
Yeah, so we serve a variety of people. So a lot of people come to MNsure because they don't have access to health insurance through their employer.
Yeah.
So those folks might be farmers or small business owners, people who are just transitioning between jobs, perhaps. A lot of folks who use MNsure are, they've retired, but they're not yet eligible for Medicare. So we serve a lot of people. Everybody is welcome to come and check if they qualify for health insurance and those tax credits to lower the cost through MNsure. We've got resources for everybody. Whether or not you think you qualify, it's worth checking because you don't know.
You don't know. That's the one call we get, right? I don't qualify for MNsure. And we're like, how do you know that? Because those limits can change throughout, from one year to another. And it's something that they should look at. Not only do those limits change, but so can somebody's situation in the middle of the year where they can go into MNsure and find out, hey, I wasn't getting a tax credit, but maybe now I will.
Tim, I'm so glad you actually brought that up because that is one of the main reasons that I think people should shop through MNsure if you're in the market for health insurance. One of the biggest benefits of going through MNsure is that if your circumstances change throughout the year, you're able to find out halfway through the year if you are able to get new tax credits, new benefits to lower those costs. So if you go outside of MNsure, it's really hard. You don't know if there's no way to check if you are suddenly eligible for those cost savings. If you go through MNsure, you'll find out because if you report that income change, we'll be able to tell you, oh, you suddenly get a discount of $300 a month or something like that. And it's a really great benefit.
It is because people's situation, job change, loss of a job, those things can prompt somebody to go, God, I didn't go through MNsure before, and now I've got to wait to get those tax credits versus if you go through MNsure right away, we can report those changes, makes it super convenient and easy. And you're buying the same health insurance as if you were going directly to the insurance company.
Yep, that's also important to know. So, the plans that we sell through MNsure are, the same or better, I would say, than what you can buy if you're just going straight through the insurance carrier yourself. So if you buy through MNsure, you're going to know that all of those plans are comprehensive, quality coverage.
Yep.
We make sure all of our plans cover a set of essential health benefits that cover things that you really need to use your health insurance.
Yeah.
So that's like preventive care, so that your vaccines, your cancer screenings, your just doctor visits, your annual checkups are
Yep.
covered.
Yep.
And so you can have that peace of mind knowing that the insurance that you're buying through MNsure is really good quality health insurance.
Yeah. So Libby, what are some of the myths or misconceptions about MNsure? Because everybody thinks MNsure's the insurance company. Are there any myths you want to, get rid of?
So a lot of people think that MNsure itself is an insurance company. We're actually, you can think of us like a store where you go in and you can purchase different types of health insurance through multiple different private health insurance carriers. There are, if you shop through MNsure, you're also able to figure out if you are somebody who qualifies for Minnesota Care or medical assistance.
Isn't that a big one, Libby, where people think
Yes.
MNsure and Medicaid and MnCare are all the same thing?
Right, and they're not. So MNsure is, you can think of it like a store where you're going in and you're shopping for private health insurance through all of our health insurance carriers, or not all of them, but many of our health insurance carriers in Minnesota. Minnesota Care is one of the public health insurance programs. That's run through the Minnesota state government. It has lower premiums and a specific set of benefits. And then there's also medical assistance, which is for the lowest income folks in Minnesota. And you can actually access all of these private health insurance and these public programs through MNsure. You don't have to know what you qualify for. You can just come in, go online, fill out the application. I recommend talking to a broker so that they can kind of walk you through all of those options. But you fill out your application and then we tell you what you qualify for.
Yeah.
So it's a really great service that we provide, and brokers play a really critical role in all of that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where people get confused, and you brought up storefront, right? You go into the store, you tell the store what your information is, and then they'll tell you what you qualify for. And the process for that qualification is a lot quicker than it used to be. It used to be you had to go through the county and you had to fill out applications, where now people help out with that stuff. And we know literally within a short amount of time what that person qualifies for. It's a easy process. It's great.
So another myth is that you shouldn't shop through MNsure because you make too much money and there's no way you're going to qualify for those tax credits or one of those public programs.
Yep.
I think a big myth that people need to think about is that's actually not always true. Those income guidelines change from year to year, and in fact, a couple of years ago, the federal government changed the income limits, so even more people now qualify for those tax credits. And those tax credits really act like an instant discount. Every month it takes off a discount from that monthly premium cost. This year, in 2023, that average savings that folks are seeing is about $600 per month.
It's a lot.
It's a huge savings, and you're really risking leaving money on the table if you're not coming through MNsure and just checking. You might qualify. And like we talked about, if your circumstances change throughout the year, maybe your income fluctuates a little bit, you might suddenly be eligible for some of those tax credits when you weren't when you signed up. So it's really important to go through MNsure. And I would say, again, I think it's really important to talk to a broker because they can walk you through all of those options, how the income guidelines changed.
One of the other things, Libby, too, is just today, before you guys got here, I had a person that said I don't think I qualify for anything. And we went through the application process, $390. I mean, his premium dropped substantially, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? I just got $390 taken off of my premium." Yep.
That's real money for
that's
people.
That's real money.
Yeah. Spread that out over 12 months, $390 every month.
It's a lot of money.
Really great savings.
Yep. Thank you for coming out and kind of telling your story about MNsure and your place in it. I've dealt with every one of the CEOs, which has been a lot of fun. We've done the radio shows, we've done some interviewing like this. We've had a lot of fun. How did you come into this position when you took over for Nate?
Yeah, so I've been with MNsure since the very end of 2018.
Okay. I've been there longer than I've been actually selling MNsure longer than you've been there.
You have, but well, little known secret, I back in the very early days of MNsure, I came over and did a very short temporary assignment at MNsure,
Okay.
helping to kind of run the outreach program,
Okay.
outreach team. So I was in MNsure back in 2014.
Okay.
But my day job was really at the Minnesota Department of Commerce back then.
Okay.
So I've worked for the state of Minnesota for a long time. I started working at MNsure at the very end of 2018. I came over as the Senior Director of Public Affairs. That job is really overseeing the communications and marketing as well as the government affairs functions at MNsure. So I've been around for a long time. I was really excited and honored to be chosen to be MNsure's next CEO. I feel so passionate about MNsure and our mission and our ability to really help people find good comprehensive coverage and save money where they can, because I just think having access to health insurance is so critical for so many people. Mm-hmm. It's the best way to avoid medical debt or some of these costs that are just just can make or break a family.
You're right. So
I'm really happy to be here and really happy to be leading the team right now.
That's awesome. Not being brand new to MNsure, but maybe new to the position, what do you think you're going to bring to the table for MNsure, now and maybe going forward?
I think that my skill set, my background in communications and marketing, and that work at the government or at the Capitol really helps me be able to talk about what MNsure does, really help tell our story so that we can make sure as many people can find out about what MNsure does, how we can benefit all the Minnesotans who need access to health insurance. I think, that background in communications and sort of that public affairs is really what I bring that's unique and special to the job.
Just meeting you here today, you remind me a lot of Allison, which was a couple of CEOs ago, because the last one, Nate, I felt like Nate was a little bit more the numbers and things like that, where with you, I feel like I'm talking to Allison again, where it's more on the marketing side and taking care of those things.
That is a humongous compliment. So thank you. Allison was a fantastic CEO. Nate was also really great. And, I think that the strengths that Nate brought were really focusing on making sure that MNsure was running really, really well. And he got us to a place where we feel very confident in our operations. We're really kind of hitting our stride. So I think it's time to really, as we move into this new era, to really just kind of sell what we're doing. We're really, we've had the most successful open enrollments ever in the last couple of years. We're really helping more and more people. So, we have a lot to thank Nate for getting us to this place, and I'm really excited to see where we can go these next few years. So, Tim, I've shared a little bit about why I think MNsure is unique and why folks should come through us. And one of those things that I think is really important is our access to the services that our brokers and navigators provide. If you actually just call MNsure's contact center on your own, we're happy to help you in whatever way we can. What we can't help you do, though, is give advice on exactly which plan you should choose. A broker can walk you through all of those options and actually advise you and give you some of that advice you might be looking for when you're working through that really complex decision on what insurance plan is going to be right for your family and for you. And so that's another reason that we think it's so important to work with a broker. They can actually give you that advice, where MNsure itself can only, we will help you do a lot of things, but we can't help you decide which plan to choose. Brokers, especially MNsure-certified brokers, are there to help a Minnesotan, anybody, work through the process from start to finish. So you can help somebody comes through the door, they don't know what they qualify for. They don't know what the best plan is for their family. They have all these questions about, what doctor can I see that's a network? What's covered? What's my out-of-pocket cost going to be?
Prescriptions.
Yep, everything. And brokers can walk you through that entire process, help you figure out what is the best plan for my family. Do I qualify for any financial assistance? So, MNsure certifies and trains all of our certified brokers. You can find a whole list of brokers on our website. If you go to MNsure.org, you can find that list. You can search by region, by language help that you might need. And Tim, you've been with us for 10 years. We're so happy with the services that you've provided to our customers and to your customers. And so I'm curious, what do you think of the importance is?
Yeah, one of the things I think MNsure does a great job is strategically putting brokers in regions around the state. So MNsure, a little secret here, MNsure has these things which we call BESIs, broker enrollment centers. And they've got them, in the south, the north, east, and west. You've got the state covered. And we've been part of that program since MNsure's been around. So we've been here, I know you said 10 years. I think it's been longer than 10 years that we've been with these guys. And when they first piloted this program, there were 6 of us. And I believe there's now 20, somewhere in that, around the state. It might be a little bit more than that. But it's what makes it nice is now people can go local to their local broker. Of course, we want them to use us, but if you're in Rochester, if you're in Mankato, if you're in the metro area, you can find somebody that's local that you can go into their office if you didn't want to do it over the phone and get signed up for MNsure. Here's another big misconception. We charge a fee. We actually get paid by the insurance company. We don't get paid by MNsure. And we don't mark up the premiums to make our commission. And I think that's a big misconception from people is, well, I'll just do this myself because it's going to save me money. No, our commission is built in to the premium. So it's one of those things that most of these, we're a free service, So we always recommend use a broker, whether you talk to that broker once, twice, 50 times, right? But they're there as a resource. One of the things too is, I mentioned the 20 or so BESIs, they're broker enrollment centers. I shouldn't call them BESIs, broker enrollment center. But then there's also, 1,000 agents that are certified. And when you go to their area, they know their networks and the plan designs because the plans aren't all the same everywhere throughout the state. And the networks are not the same throughout the state. So you want to go into that region with that broker to find out what's the best plan for them.
Yeah. I would say it's no surprise to anyone that figuring out what health insurance plan to choose can be really complex.
Yeah.
It's a really tough decision for people. And so, brokers are critical in helping you figure out which plan is right for me. Can I save any money on this plan? What does it cover? Which doctors can I see? All of that, and your brokers can really help you through that whole process for free.
Yep.
No charge to you.
Yeah, so the operation, when people either call us or stop in and say, I need MNsure, the steps are as follows. We start basically with, we'll do what's called shopping. So we want to first see if they qualify for help because there's actually 2 separate application processes through MNsure. We can do one application with help, or financial help where they're going to give you money, or we can do one without help. And if somebody comes in and says, hey, I don't think I'm going to qualify, but we can do a shop and compare and find out if they do qualify before we fill out the application. And when we fill out the application without help, the application takes us, just a few minutes. It's pretty short and sweet. But then the application with help just takes a little bit longer. Once we submit all that information, depends on the time of the year, right? If we're doing it outside of open enrollment, then there's some documentations we need to send to MNsure to qualify for the insurance. And that's simple. That's a one-step process. It's really easy. That's actually changed a lot over the years. We used to have to send it in. Now we can fax it in, and that process is pretty quick. And then once we get that in there, then with MNsure, then they'll open shopping and we can pick any plan. During open enrollment, you can sign up for whatever plan you want. You don't need to have a reason. There's no pre-existing condition for health insurance. That's a big deal. We still get that question. Is there a pre-existing condition? I've got this going on. I've got cancer. Can I still buy this insurance? And the answer is yes, you can. The other reason, sometimes people are like, why should I go through MNsure if I'm not going to get the help? And you've kind of alluded to this, Libby. where if we go with the shorter application process, but then halfway through the year, something changes, we can now go into the financial help. And if you're not through MNsure, you can't do that process. So it makes it a lot simpler. And that's one of the reasons we're like, you don't qualify for any help. Let's still go through MNsure, because we don't know what the future holds. And if July comes around and we needed to make a change, we can't do that if we're not through MNsure. If we're through MNsure, we can make that change. Libby, again, thanks for coming in. Thanks for all the information.
So happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation today, because I love highlighting the great work of our brokers. You all provide such a critical service to the people who need health insurance in the state. You're able to kind of help through all these tough questions that people have with their health insurance. And so just really grateful for the time to chat about this. What I really want people to take away from this conversation is just that you don't have to know what you qualify for when you walk in the door and you have a conversation with somebody like Tim. You get to come in and he'll walk you through all of that, and you'll find out if you're going to qualify for some of those tax credits, if you which plan you really should be in. Don't assume you make too much money to qualify for financial help. You really might, and it's worth checking, and it's worth coming through and talking to a broker who can help you through all of that tricky advice.
Thanks everybody for watching this video again. So if you like what you see and you've got ideas, feel free to share them with us. But if you can watch us on YouTube, you can watch us on Facebook, like us on Facebook, Instagram, and again, if there's anything you want to see, we appreciate you telling us, and thank you for watching. Libby, you want to say goodbye?
Sure.
On the count of three?
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Bye.